room there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, and he was taken to a soundproof room there on Fort Bliss, and his life was taken. And this is always hard to say because his remains, his body was stolen, dismembered, and trafficked across the border. And now we are in the battle, the really vicious battle of repatriating his remains so that we can get it back. And it's vicious. And so much is happening, and we're working very hard behind the scenes to connect all the dots for those that are sick and tired of the corruption and the legacy of corruption. You know, the ongoing years and years of corruption within our law enforcement, judicial, and political uh, body, political body, right? The real corruption, not what they fabricate for, that whole no kings thing. That was just so bogus. That was so bogus, and it was just a distraction, right? To confuse people. They try, it's a psyop to confuse people because you know them by their fruit. And, these last few days, we've evidence has led to the county judge, Ricardo Samaniego. And when you look at his legacy of corruption, that's the only way you can put it. Um, it really intersects with everything that's going on there in El Paso. So he's absolutely a linchpin for all of this. And not just in El Paso, not just in our son's case, not just in the Walmart case, not just with the medical examiner, which is very, very important because he's illegal. He's illegal. He's illegal. He's in the country illegally and siphoning $500,000 a year of taxpayer funds, botching every autopsy, every murder case, right? It's just, which includes the Walmart mass shooting case, which includes Richard's investigation. Um, and not only that, it's the criminal law magistrate court. Um, it's um, the uh, the cross the border Plenitude Crematorium with its owner that is really hiding out in El Paso, which is Rafael uh, Arliano Caron. Um, and he's a confirmed owner of Plenitude Crematorium. He's a confirmed owner of that flesh flesh peddling hell zone of rotting bodies for the cartel, for the Sinaloa cartel. And then you have El Pato, which is the duck, I guess it's the duck, El Pato being arrested, and the officials allowing that. Okay, so let's make sure that I'm on here because I want to connect these dots for everybody so that they understand what's going on, so that you can absolutely assert your rights when it comes to voting, assert your rights when it comes to demanding that that your rights not be violated as far as the disenfranchise of the electing of the magistrate judges, which has been ongoing for a decade, um, and also demanding that you pay $500,000 to a legitimate medical examiner, not to an illegal, and that's illegally in the an immigration fraudster, right? Um, yeah. So let me connect these dots, make sure that I'm on. I see that I'm on. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for coming on so late. Thank you, Laura, for your prayers. And it is late because of all the information coming out with El Pato, with the corrupt administrator, county judge. He doesn't even have a law degree, Ricardo Samaniego, and of course, with now the breaking news of Tony Gonzales. Representative Tony Gonzales. It is just uh, unbelievable that they just feel like they're above the law, that they can just uh, uh, do whatever they want and have no accountability, and that so many lives can be injured, can be end up in the morgue, um, like uh, like Tony Gonzalez's um, team member, who, of course, um, he was having allegedly, I'm supposed to say allegedly, having a sexual affair with. Of course, he's married, she's married, she has a child, um, and she ends up being set on fire. Uh, that's all I'm going to say about that, because with all of these cases being so manipulated, I'll wait until the evidence comes out, because we know that she died of her injuries from being set on fire, okay, in her backyard of her home there in Uvalde, which is not, just any place. It is the location of the other mass shooting, right? The other mass shooting. Um, and so, to have the 911 call being stonewalled and other evidence being stonewalled, it just reminded us so much of the incident I just reported on that happened not too long ago with Ricardo Samaniego and his domestic dispute with his girlfriend, where she ends up at the hospital. So one ends up in the morgue, one ends up at the hospital, and the 911 calls are being stonewalled, and the evidence is being stonewalled. And by who? By the law enforcement. By the law enforcement. And we got more information about Brookshire, Trooper Brookshire today, that I'll release tomorrow, because the information, and gosh, y'all, um, because it's all coming out, and we're having some real success, um, with exposing all of this, right? And the word getting out. Thanks for everybody sharing. The word is getting out, and we're sick and tired of our millions and billions of dollars going to a facade of a government, right? And in reality, just corruption. It's just a facade. They get on to their very media controlled, um, psyops, and tell us, oh, don't worry about it. It was just a house party. You know how it goes. This can be an example. No, no, no. You're out there having no mercy on the businessmen in El Paso, having no mercy on people that want to go and be with their dying family members, threatening for $1,000 if they break any kind of stay home, stay safe. Maybe we don't want to stay safe. Maybe we don't want to stay safe. Maybe we want to go be with our loved ones um, at the end of their life, right? Maybe we want to take a little risk to do the right thing. And it was just all a psyop anyway, because at his home they're having like 50 people, young people that have no intentions of separating 6 feet apart, having a party so boisterous, so lively that the neighbors are going, "What the hell is going on? I thought we were supposed to be 6 feet apart. I thought we are supposed to, everyone stay home, but no, they're having a party with like 50 people there." Um, and whose house is this? Ricardo Samaniago's, right? Just days after he's threatening people. Um, with legal action if they weren't listening to him, like a big bully, like a big bully. I was so mad during that time because Richard was missing. Richard was missing. Well, he was really, his life had been taken from him. His body had been stolen. He was dismembered. He was trafficked over in Juarez, and they're telling us he's CONUS Dust One missing, right? Which they knew that was a lie. But we didn't know it was a lie. Well, we knew it was a lie, but we didn't know what in the world was going on. And people are saying, "Stay home." No, maybe I don't want to stay home. Maybe I want to go look for my son. Maybe I want to go talk to people that might know where my son is or know what happened to my son. You know, I mean, and they're having a party and I want to go find my son. It just, I cannot tell you how mad that whole, what Samaniego did in El Paso during that time. And, how it has led to Richard, um, the Plenitude Crematorium, and us over 5 years having to expose. We're not getting a $500,000 a year. They work for us. We don't work for them. And this legacy of corruption within his own house, within the medical examiner's office, within the El Paso criminal law magistrate office, or judges that absolutely violate democracy, disenfranchise the voters, and then give no oversight at all to these imposters that act like they're judicial officers when they have no authority at all, and there's no oversight of them because of this problem. And it's millions and millions of dollars of taxpayer money. Just for Mario Raskin Ortiz, he's collected about $5 million, and he's illegal. He's an immigration fraudster, sucking on the American people while tainting every case, every autopsy, and being in the grip of those that want to be judicial officers, like Samaniego, like Veronica Escobar. Veronica Escobar got Mario Raskin appointed and fought for him being illegally in that position, knowing he was illegal in that position. How do I know? Because we've we've got the paperwork, we've got the receipts. And Samaniego kept him in there. And then goes and fine dines, and I wonder if he put that on taxpayer dime, fine dining the flesh peddler, the owner of Plenitude Crematorium, over 400 bodies just when they went in there. But this has been going on for years. How many bodies has he been flesh peddling? we're just so, you know, you can't help but get passionate when you're getting responses, when you're getting people sharing that are absolutely sick and tired along with you, right? Now, I hear some people don't have hope. I have a lot of hope because I can tell you right now, there is Colombia going on. So let me connect the dots with Colombia. Okay, there are people that are getting their visas revoked. There are officials that thought they were above the law that are getting their visas revoked. These are individuals that have bank accounts in the United States and now their visas are getting revoked. Now you have the whole country of Colombia being designated a narco state that is now lost all of their funding from the United States. They're not getting a penny. They're not getting a penny because you cannot trust them with the money that you're getting. You're like, oh, are the people suffering? The people are were suffering before because all of that money was going to the elites, the big shots that are doing bad things, up to no good. So now President Trump is the new sheriff in town. President Trump says you're a narco state. You're up to no good. I'm not giving you one penny to do one more bad thing. I'm not going to fund your uh your disasters. What am I talking about with disasters? Well, you don't have to look too far. You've got Tony Gonzales being emboldened by all of this corruption going on. And then he thinks that he doesn't have to honor his marriage vow. He doesn't have to honor his oath of being a representative. He doesn't, that he's above the law, that he can go and mess with his staff, that he can sexually mess with his staff who are also married, so he doesn't have to honor those vows, that he can be up to no good. He needs to be stripped from every penny. He needs to absolutely lose his position. And then he was attacking, with smear campaigns, his opponent, that we were reporting on. And now he he has leverage with the law enforcement, with the Trooper Brookshires that don't want to do the right thing, that have no ethics, that have no, and which is confirmed, that that want to stonewall the 911 call and other evidence from coming out, which is then domino effect. Maybe it was a domino effect from Ricardo Samaniego from not too long ago, stonewalling the 911 call, stoning the evidence of his little domestic. Well, it was a little, right? His girlfriend ended up going to the hospital and decrying and crying out, my rights are being violated as a favor to my boyfriend. The law enforcement are giving a favor to my boyfriend, even though I'm ending up at the hospital with my rights violated. This is, you know, uh, thank God it's all coming out. Thank God it's all coming out because enough. You've have hundreds of thousands of children being trafficked. You have all kinds of trafficking going across that border. You have an illegal as collecting $500,000 for, a judicial officer, as a medical examiner, botching every autopsy. Then you have a a court that is disenfranchising the voters with imposter judges. Then you have the Mayella Crucius, uh, consp- you know, uh, stonewall. What is that called? Hiding not only evidence, but the witnesses, the very key witnesses in the Patrick Crucius case. His El Paso family members are the key witnesses in the El Paso Walmart mass shooting case. And they hid that from us. They obstructed that from us. They obstructed justice from the victims. 46 victims, 23 fatalities. What about the bonds, the millions of bonds without voter input? I mean, enough is enough. They have they put if you give a mouse a cookie, to shame. They pay eh, they they just are, they're the worst. They're the worst. And if you are a GG like I am, if you are a teacher, if you've read, if you give a mouse a cookie, you know exactly what I mean. They just take and take and take and take, and they forget that the law applies to them too. The law applies to Representative Veronica Escobar. The law applies to Representative Tony Gonzales, who have both violated and are derelict in their duty for oversight of Fort Bliss. And with Tony Gonzales, it's even worse because Veronica Escobar, I mean, she's the worst of the worst, right? But Tony Gonzales came out and said that Woody Hunt was up to no good with the soldiers on Fort Bliss. And then when it came an opportunity for him to hold them accountable, what did he do? He caved. He sold out. He took tens of thousands of dollars from Woody Hunt when he knew about Richard. Because I know he knew, because we notified him, because he could do oversight. He could absolutely look into uh, what happened to Richard. It was his duty to do it, and they bought him off. They bought him off because the money that we give them as taxpayers wasn't enough for him. They get everything, and it's still not enough. They are just greedy SOBs. Sorry, but really, and they have no ethics, and you see that they have no morals, no ethics. They'll ruin a 9-year-old's family because his staff member had a 9-year-old son and a husband. And because, you know, what is he a polygamous nature? He's looking for more wives. He has one. What is that not enough for him? Does he have that polygamous nature, like, you know, the Mormon faction that are deep in this, as prime suspects that cover up for Leilani Hart, and that we know that her family tends to do this polygamous thing too, and worse, facilitating the worst type of crimes against children, because it doesn't end with one uh, violation of God's law, right? And let's really just say it. if they have no respect for God, no fear of God, no respect of God, no respect for his laws, no respect for the laws of the land, no respect for the United States, that you have to go across the border to Mexico to bring Mexico problems, right? Because that's what they did, and that's what's going on here. They have no respect for the rule of law. They think they're above the law. They think they're above God. But accountability is coming. Accountability is here. And their visas are being violated, which they really hate that because they want all the benefits of the United States without adhering to the laws of the United States. And this is why this whole Mario Raskin Ortiz thing, which we have 3 autopsy reports. I'd like to get some answers of why he was allowed to stay in that position for a decade, getting paid, upwards of $5 million and being illegally in this country. And, so if you're ICE and you're listening, you need to go visit Mario Raskin Ortiz because he's illegally in this country, causing the botching of one case after the other, and in the grips of the likes of Veronica Escobar and Ricardo Samaniego. Because Ricardo Samaniego, whatever, he signs the checks. He signs the checks for the medical examiner. It is like, we're just so appreciative for all the sharing because it's so big, isn't it? It's so big. So let's talk one more thing. I wanted to talk about El Pato, the duck, the Sinaloa leader. The Sinaloa leader over that area that was, um, well, they had to um, hand him over. And I'm talking about Governor Maru Campos of Chihuahua, Mexico, which is Juarez, Mexico. Um, and all the other authorities over there that are narco politicians, part of the Chapatos um, faction of the Sinaloa cartel, which after El Mayo was arrested and um, his faction lost out. It was El Chapo's faction that took control. And El Pato, this huge leader, that his territory um, overlaps Plenitude Crematorium, where we know that Mauro Campos's mother was, in charge of oversight, yet looking the other way for years, allowing the flesh to be peddled. And profited from. And we know that they are part of this Sinaloa, and so they overlap. So why was El Pato arrested? It's because of what happened to Colombia. And you're going, what are you talking about? Yeah, not getting they don't want to lose their visas. They don't want to lose their funding from the United States. They want the American visas, they want the American money. And there's a lot, what does that mean? There's a lot of pressure over there. There's a lot of pressure. I'm telling you, the negotiations for the repatriation of U.S. Army hero Richard Halliday, who really paid the ultimate sacrifice for the nation, is vicious. The the negotiation for his remains are vicious. And that's what's going on. So, and I can tell you this, they're not, um, they're very little. They're not strong. America's stronger than them, and God is even strong. Of course, God is the heavyweight champion of the world. And that's why El Pato was arrested. And um, that means that there might be negotiations, right, with him. Plea deals, plea deals. They want a lot of singing Sinaloa cartel members. They want a lot of singing Sinaloa cartel members. And the negotiations are so vicious that President Trump can't mess around. That's why the sub was absolutely sunk. Sunk. That's why the speedboats were sunk. That's why the tariffs are not fooling around. That's why the visas are being stripped. Because the negotiations are vicious. And President Trump has said so. And he's absolutely letting them know. Because we cannot have a military base retaliate, take the life of, steal the body of, dismember, traffic across the border, international border, tamper with the investigation, obstruct the investigation of a U.S. Army soldier. Are you kidding me? A country like the United States cannot tolerate that. Be it my son or another son or daughter that volunteers in the military. This is serious. It's sending a message to every mutinous general. There's a new sheriff in town, and there is a new commander in chief in town. And there's a new world leader in town. And we're very grateful. And he's not a king, because he was, well, what did he say? I'm working my ass off every day. And he is. And he says, um, well, we know that he won the election. He had an election, not like um, this magistrate court, right? President Trump is respecting the Constitution. He's even allowing rogue judges to mess with him, and he's taking the time and letting the Supreme Court give him his victories. And accountability, retribution is coming. So thank you so much. I know I'm on so late. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. But it's just that important. There's no time to sleep. It's just too important. And we're very, very thankful to everybody. We love you, and we ask for you to share, and comment, and like, and share some more. Thank you so much. It's very powerful. It's so powerful. I don't think people understand their power, because we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And the only way to drive them to accountability, to drive them to the right thing, is the power of the people. Thank you so much. God bless you.